about the significance of these China numbers. You know, Facebook and Twitter are blocked in China, but has LinkedIn cracked the China market?
Yeah, LinkedIn is really the only U.S. social network. In fact, one of the few U.S. internet companies that can actually operate in China. Last quarter, I think they had about 6 million users, now 10 million users. It's growing rapidly. I think there's a huge opportunity for LinkedIn to really be able to expand its market and its total addressable market by being able to operate within China.
Paul, I mean, you know, what are the numbers that are standing out to you? One of the things that we were looking closely at is mobile. We should get more details of how their mobile services are doing on the call, but what do you think the highlights are here?
Yeah, it's interesting. This was a really interesting quarter. Quite frankly, I think most investors coming into the quarter were just hoping for kind of a know-nothing kind of quarter, no surprises one way or the other after the, you know, astonishing disappointment last quarter where they brought guidance down. Here they put up a very good quarter, and then they take guidance back up for the full year. So, you know, kind of a roller coaster here for shareholders. But again, you know, much better turnaround here, led by mobile. I think led by their talent solutions business, which was up 38%. So looks like a solid quarter across the board. And it looks like some of the changes they made to their sales force and talent solutions, maybe they have a little bit more confidence at lynda.com. You know, gave them that confidence to take numbers up one quarter after bringing them down.
Steve, as somebody who's worked at LinkedIn, you know, what is standing out to you here? LinkedIn obviously has been making this transition to a more mobile company, more than 50% of unique visitors last quarter coming from mobile devices. What stands out to you?
Well, I think one of the really interesting things is last quarter, where they had lots of difficult news to report, they announced a few organizational challenges that they were going through. And one of the missed stories, if you will, in what their growth experience has been is that we're talking about a company that 6 years ago was 400 people and today is around 8,000. And that is enormous growth, an enormous challenge for any organization to go through. So for me, that's one of the big stories here, is that they're not talking about organizational problems anymore. They're talking about the fact that these moves that they made are paying off. And it makes me think that what happened last quarter was they just undertook the biggest acquisition in the history of the company in terms of value, $1.5 billion of lynda.com, and in terms of employees, around 600. And I think they've got their mojo back. That's what I'm starting to feel with the earnings of today.
Lynda.com, an online education company. But, Neil, aren't there still questions about just how Lynda.com is going to be integrated into the company and why this acquisition made sense?
Yeah, and we'll hopefully get more color on the call. But, you know, this company was usually an online education company. We think the big opportunity could be LinkedIn using Lynda.com to become the corporate training solutions provider for its 38,000 plus talent solutions companies and clients. So that could be a real big opportunity for LinkedIn down the road.
Paul, what do you make of these sort of down the road opportunities for LinkedIn? LinkedIn, as Steve mentioned, has been a company in transition.
Yeah, it's, you know, this quarter was a very interesting quarter for not only LinkedIn, but for a lot of the social media companies. We had some good numbers out of some companies. We had some disappointing numbers out of others. So I think what investors are hearing a lot about, which is, you know, like Mark Zuckerberg said, trust us, have patience. We're investing for the long-term growth of this business. And I think most investors that are in these social media companies are pretty comfortable with that let's invest now strategy for the longer-term payoff down the road. That seems to be something that has worked for most of these companies, including LinkedIn. So I think management, much like the Facebook management, I think management here at LinkedIn is going to get the benefit of the doubt here.
It's funny, you know, Steve, even though LinkedIn and companies like Facebook are very different, they still often get lumped in the same boat. And I wonder, how significant do you think this China news is, given that Facebook is a company and Twitter, they can't expand in China, but LinkedIn can? How big an opportunity is that, in your opinion?
Well, knowing how many professional members there could be in China, there could be well over 150 million professionals there, and they're only hitting around 10 million now. I think the upside's really huge. I also think, given what China has done to other social media companies, it's got to be very scary for LinkedIn, because they could just pull the plug at any time. So I think they're proceeding very carefully. I think they're really interested in what dramatic upside could be. But you can't say you're truly a global professional network until you have one of the largest segments of professionals in the world really joining you en masse. And right now, I think what they've got is the bilingual executives in China, the Chinese professionals who are part of the multinationals joining in greater numbers. Now we're going to see if the intra-Chinese professionals are going to be able to join in, if there's going to be a monetization opportunity. It's a big question mark, but a really encouraging sign, I think.